everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Angel Azzarra, and I'm a professional opera singer and voice teacher, and today I'm going to be reacting to some of Brendon Urie's best live performances. A lot of you requested that I listen to him singing live after I reacted to and analyzed the studio Into the Unknown. Now, I know that it was a studio performance, but I will say that one of my favorite things about Brendon Urie is that whether I'm listening to him singing like in a studio album that's been like completely edited and produced, or I'm listening to him sing on a 10-second Vine about coffee at 6 a.m, he sounds pretty much the same, which is wildly impressive and one of the reasons that I really, really love him. But for now, let's get in on these best live performances. All right. I love that Billy Joel's just jamming. These hair flips. Okay. Oh my gosh, I didn't know that I needed him singing Billy Joel in my life, but apparently I did. You can hear that he isn't singing a super technically difficult song. He's not stressing at all right now. But some things that I'm noticing are that he's singing with a particularly dark timbre, and he's utilizing that rasp. The rasp is not created in an unhealthy way. Clearly, we know that Brendon can sing metal or screamo. So what he's doing is he's using the false chords just below his vocal cords, which are mostly made up of mucous membrane, and he's just vibrating them, which creates a kind of raspy sound. It's just a rattling sound, if you will. And totally healthy to do that. There's nothing wrong with it. It's fun. It's a fun vocal effect to throw in. And as far as the dark timbre goes, it seems to me the way he is achieving this is he's lifting his soft palate so very high that he's not using any nasopharyngeal resonance. Nasopharyngeal resonance is nasal resonance, but that's not to be confused with singing through your nose. Your nasopharynx actually exists in your sinus cavities just above and behind your soft palate. So it's quite far back in your head, but that is where you get that bright sound that Brendon usually has, and he's not using it right now.
Girls love girls and boys. Girls love girls and boys. But girls love girls and boys. Love is not a choice. I am just a villain vying for attention from a girl. Girl who can't decide. Here's the reason why. Girls love girls and boys. Girls love girls and boys.
One great thing I noticed in this clip, Girls and Boys, it sounds a lot more like sort of your baseline Brendon Urie vocals. There's that bright sound we know and love. His voice is spinning a lot. The vibrato sounds healthy, and he utilizes it pretty frequently, unlike a lot of pop rock singers. So that's another reason that I really like him, that he doesn't try to back off on his vibrato at all. But I'm hearing that the voiced consonants in his voice, vying villains from, he's letting his voice sing through those consonants, those voiced consonants. Voiced consonants are just consonants. I've said consonants like 30 times. They're consonants that you can sing a pitch on. from boys and whatever the words are, from girls and boys. You're hearing him sing through the M instead of breaking his air, which is probably one of the reasons his stamina is so good, because he's singing through those moments instead of constantly stopping his air. These mic flips are gonna break me. So now we're hearing him go more to the top of his range. You can hear it's getting brighter and brighter as he goes up, but he's still retaining a unique sound. It's not whiting out. It's not stripping out and losing spin. So what he's doing is he's modifying how much mix he has as he goes up. And in the beginning of that clip, you could hear him going from a belt, popping down, and then immediately going back up in falsetto. So he's changing from a mix to complete head voice very, very quickly, and he's doing it well. The way he's doing it well is because he has the right amount of space and he's using the right amount of air. When you're singing higher, it seems counterintuitive, but when you sing higher, you need more space. That makes sense. But you actually need less air going through your chords. It's really easy to get a stripped out sound when you try to push too much air through or don't have enough. He's definitely figured out the balance, and finding that balance isn't what's tricky. It's being able to do it so many times that you can survive doing it when you're sick. You can survive doing it when you're 2 hours into a show and you're exhausted. The tricky thing about it is definitely making sure that it's muscle memory, to me at least.
Everyone goes. I wanna know what everyone knows. I wanna go where everyone feels the same. I never said I'd leave the city.
Glasses.
I never said I'd leave this town. I finally got we wanted to about. When everybody gets there, everybody gets there. Everybody gets their way. Never said I miss her when everybody kissed her. I'm the only one to blame.
One great thing about, I keep saying one great thing about Brendon. Another thing I like about Brendon, we get it. I like him. Like, he's one of my favorite singers. Basta, whatever. Another great thing about Brendon is that I always understand what he's saying. We know that he can be quite verbose in his lyrics, but his elocution is always just spot on. And even when he's going up, instead of using the consonants, or instead of feeling like the consonants are a hurdle to him, to blame, you hear that he hits the B and the L and the M. And for a lot of singers, when you have a lot of consonants in one word on one high note, they get nervous and they tend to feel like they're trying to hold them back. No, instead he uses them as a trampoline effect into the vowel. So it's so crystal clear when he gets up there, and you still understand exactly what he's saying.
Pretty picture, but the scenery is so loud. A big silent kitchen lighting in your nightgown. Go back away from the water, baby. Might try the party's over tonight. Yeah. Where will you be waking up tomorrow morning? Yeah. Another back door, goddamn, but I love her anyway. I love her anyway. I love her anyway. Another back door, goddamn, but I love her anyway.
So I really like that that one was filmed from a side profile. You can learn so much by watching a singer from the side profile. The audio was a little not as good quality, but you can see that he's staying pretty upright, which is great. I have a lot of students with a guitar that sing with guitar that tend to hunch, and it's a constant struggle to get them to sit up straight, even though they're trying to cradle an instrument. But he's staying pretty upright, and you see when he sings, he's showing his upper teeth. He's showing his upper teeth, but he's not showing his lower teeth, which kind of shows you that he's keeping all of this zygomatic musculature up, the muscles of the cheekbones, the smile muscles, if you will. He's keeping them all lifted, which is helping his soft palate stay gently raised, but not too raised that it's a dark sound, especially since he's belting higher. We don't want that. But his jaw, he's not pushing his jaw down. His jaw is just naturally falling down. The jaw should always just feel like it's hanging down from a shelf. You should never feel like you're doing anything with it. I see a lot of belters that jut out because what's happening is they're pushing their jaw down, which puts pressure on the hyoid bone, which suspends. It's a bone that suspends. It's not connected to any other bones, and it suspends just above the larynx. So if you push down, like on your jaw, you push down on your hyoid bone, which then manipulates and depresses your larynx. And when you're belting, you don't want to depress larynx. Your larynx should sort of be reluctantly lifted when you're belting. So he is alleviating that pressure by making sure his jaw is just dropped down. He's keeping everything above the jaw lifted, and then he just very gently leans up. You see when he's going for the higher notes, just a little bit of tilt to make sure that that hyoid bone is still just suspending instead of getting depressed. We don't want him to be depressed. No sad boys.
And we know that it should. And you know that you feel it too. 'Cause it's 9 in the afternoon. Your eyes are the size of the moon. You're good 'cause you can, so you do. We're feeling so good, just the way that we do. When it's 9 in the afternoon. Your eyes are the size of the moon. You're good 'cause you can, so you do. And we're feeling so good. Do you know what I mean? Back to the place where we used to say, man, it feels good to feel this way. Now I know what I mean. Say.
Another thing that I kind of notice when he's singing is he does a lot of these gestures, which, yes, it's just his style when he's singing. It's just a part of how he moves around on stage. But the side effect of that, these sort of quick gestures, if anything is tensed in your throat, if any of these extrinsic muscles, the strap muscles surrounding the larynx are tight, doing these quick gestures is actually releasing that tension. I mean, you can't tense your bicep and then like really quickly fling your arm out. It's sort of the same thing. He's sort of automatically releasing that tension, shaking it off, if you will. And, you know, I don't know if he's doing it on purpose or not. If he's doing it on purpose, maybe somebody explained that to him. And if he's not, it's just another example of him being a really innate singer.
What you mean? Tell me I'm right, and let the sun rain down on me. Give me a sign, I wanna believe. Whoa, Mona Lisa, I pay to see you frown.
And again, great things about watching singing from a side profile. You see what I'm talking about, that the muscles surrounding his cheekbones are so lifted. Mona Lisa, Mona Lisa, frown. He's lifting just a little bit more, but his jaw is not doing anything. It's not doing anything. It's so relaxed. It's like he's taken his mandible and just like set it on the shelf, and he's ignoring it, which is really what you should do. Just let it drop from the hinge here. From here, sorry. And then go to town with everything above it and everything below it, keeping this relaxed and then supporting for the gods, which he does. And here's just like a phone recording, of course. That one still sounded great, but when he went into his belt, it just kind of sounded like he hadn't fully warmed up for the day. I don't know where that, I haven't seen that Vine, or whatever it was, I haven't seen it before. So I don't know where in his schedule it's coming or fitting in. But it sounded good, but it just didn't sound like he was fully warmed up. It was just a little bit tight on the top. But then the head notes sounded great. This is baby Brendon. Woo! That was tiny bit pitchy right at the beginning. Not quite a scoop, but it was a little pitchy just for a second. But the rest of it was so great. Again, I know I keep talking about his elocution and how he doesn't modify his vowels, but boulevard, instead of going boulevard, like a lot of people do, I do, he still keeps boulevard. That's starting to sound not right in my head, but he's keeping it more closed of a vowel instead of just spreading wide open for the top note. Phrasing, angel phrasing.
Kinds of things with a sense of poise and rationality. Again. Well, I said, haven't you people ever heard of closing a goddamn door? No. Thanks.
I love that so many singers from one single concert, you can't take their best live vocals, but he's just so consistent. He's so consistent vocally that you could take a cut of him at the beginning of a concert and a cut of him at the end of a concert, and it's still going to sound so good. Consistency seems kind of like a crappy compliment, like, oh, you have a nice personality. But consistency in technique is so hard to establish. Just that muscle memory when like you're at the absolute end of your stamina, when you're exhausted, when you're sick, when you've been on tour for 12 weeks singing the same crap over and over again. It's so easy to start over muscling, to start over supporting your top, to start not producing enough space for it, whatever. There's so many things that can go wrong with the voice because you're sort of building the instrument as you sing. It's not like a violin. It's not going to be the same every day. You're going to be sick. You're going to be tired. You're going to be dehydrated. You're going to be high. You're going to be things, okay? But he's so consistent and he knows his voice so well and what it's capable of. So he's a really flexible artist and he's an incredibly top-notch musician, and I love him. Like, I absolutely adore him. I'm going to stop fangirling over him now. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you found it informational or helpful at all, please like and subscribe. I promise there are more reactions coming, especially of Brendon Urie, because I love him so much. And toy, toy, toy until next time.